Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we are diving headfirst into a topic that really, it affects how you work, how you learn, maybe even how you manage your health. We're talking about gamification.
Right.
And we're not just talking about, adding cute graphics to a to-do list.
No, not at all. This is a serious psychological strategy, and it's powering one of the fastest growing markets out there.
Thor, how big are we talking?
Well, this is a global market that's expected to fly past $30.7 billion by 2025. Yeah. And that growth tells you something. It shows that applying these elements from gaming things like points, leaderboards, levels to non-game stuff is fundamentally changing things.
The power of it seems to be its ability to just overcome inertia.
Exactly.
It's engaging, it's stimulating, and it taps right into our reward systems, which helps us sort of bypass that urge to procrastinate on boring tasks.
It makes the boring parts of life just a little addictive.
Which is our mission today. We're going to unpack the core psychological mechanics that make it all work.
And we'll look at how big companies are using these tools to boost everything from sales to loyalty. And, most importantly, we'll figure out the framework you can use to apply this to your own goals.
Without falling into those common traps.
Not falling into the traps.
Okay, so let's get into the psychological engine behind all this. What is it that makes games so motivating?
Well, the best known framework probably comes from the actionable gamification model, which is often called Octalysis.
Right.
And it identifies 8 core drives that explain why we play and, why we stay engaged.
And to really get it, we should probably focus on a few key ones.
I think so. Let's start with 3 really essential ones.
Okay, what's first?
First up, you have epic meaning and calling.
Okay, so in a fantasy game, that's like rescuing the kingdom.
Exactly, the grand purpose. In real life, it's about linking a task to something bigger than yourself. It creates this deep investment.
I see. And the second one?
That would be development and accomplishment. This is probably the most obvious one.
This is the progress bar.
Yes. It's that instant visceral satisfaction of seeing the bar fill up or getting a little notification that you've leveled up.
That visible progress just tells your brain, keep going.
And the third one is critical. It's loss and avoidance.
This one sounds a bit darker.
It is, a little. It leverages that fear of losing something you've already earned.
Oh, like the Duolingo streak.
Exactly like the Duolingo flame. If you miss a day, it's gone. That potential loss creates urgency. It makes you come back.
Even if it's just for a minute.
Right. Now, when we talk about what really makes motivation stick long term, we have to connect these drives back to core psychology.
And that would be self-determination.
That's the one. It makes a really important distinction between 2 types of motivation.
Okay, so you've got extrinsic motivation.
Right, which is doing something for an external gain. A paycheck, a gift card, unwritten punishment.
And then there's intrinsic motivation.
Which is when the joy and fulfillment come from the activity itself. You do it because it's interesting or satisfying.
And the research is pretty clear that intrinsic is what you want for the long haul.
Absolutely. So the goal of good gamification isn't just to bribe people with points, it's to help the player internalize that motivation.
How does it do that?
It works by satisfying 3 basic psychological needs: competence, autonomy, and relatedness.
Okay, let's break that down. How does a game system satisfy, say, competence?
Through those clear feedback loops. Leveling up, progress bars. You feel competent because the system is constantly showing you that you're getting better. You're not guessing.
And autonomy, that feeling of being in control. That seems hard to do with mandatory corporate training.
It can be. But successful systems give the user choices. Maybe which quest to do first, or letting them customize their dashboard.
So even if the end goal is fixed, you feel like you have some ownership over the path to get there.
Exactly. That satisfies that powerful need for autonomy.
So how could you use that for, boring admin work?
There's a great example called the admin party. You can't change the fact you have to do your taxes, but you can change the process. Take the work to a coffee shop, put on your favorite music, treat it like a little event. You reclaim autonomy over the environment.
I love that. It reframes it from an obligation to a challenge you control.
And that same principle, that small narrative shift, works in high-stakes jobs too. There was an ex-doctor who found a trick for stressful days.
What was it?
Swapping the words "I have to" with "I get to."
So instead of "I have to see one more patient," it's "I get to help one more patient."
Precisely. It transformed obligation into gratitude. It gives the work that epic meaning again.
That sets the stage perfectly for the corporate world. They are definitely applying these mechanics on a huge scale.
Oh, it's an indispensable tool now. You see it everywhere in onboarding for new hires. It really cuts down on early attrition.
And I imagine it's huge for corporate training.
Foundational. It makes that dry compliance or sales training actually stick.
And of course, the most visible use is in sales.
Absolutely. Systems from companies like Ambition and Spinify are all about using these mechanics to empower reps to sell more.
And in those systems, I bet the leaderboard is king.
It's the most frequently used tool for sure. It tracks performance and creates intense competition.
And the numbers are wild. Our sources show it could boost sales by as much as 33%.
It can, but this is where we have to pump the brakes a little.
Okay, why?
Because if you look at Bartle's player types, this framework for what motivates different players' leaderboards are really only for two groups.
The achievers and the killers.
Right. The achievers make up maybe 10% of people. They love points, status. The killers are less than 1%. They just want to see other people lose.
But wait, if they're the standard tool, what about the other? Like 80+% of people. The socializers.
That is the $30 billion question. Companies love leaderboards because competition is easy to measure, but you risk alienating the 4 out of 5 employees who are socializers.
And they're motivated by collaboration and community, not just winning.
Exactly. Think of the appeal of Farmville. It was all about helping your friends.
So if your whole system is just a leaderboard, that initial 33% boost probably won't last.
It's not sustainable, which is why the second big mechanic, badges and recognition, is so vital. It speaks to both the achievers and the socializers.
Because it's public recognition of a milestone.
And that recognition itself is incredibly powerful. The research shows that 65% of employees would actually prefer a non-cash reward or public praise over just getting more money for an achievement.
That's amazing.
It speaks to that deep need for relatedness and competence. And frequency matters too. The rewards have to be small and frequent.
Keep feeding that accomplishment drive.
Right. Employees who get regular small rewards are 8 times more engaged than those just getting an annual bonus.
And we're seeing companies use this for external audiences too, right?
For sure. In marketing, Volvo ran this advent calendar game for truck drivers. It was all about collaboration and discovery, not a hard sell.
And I saw that Austrian newspaper, Kronen Zeitung, embedded quizzes in their articles.
Yeah, that was smart. The goal was to increase reading time and the instant feedback from the quiz.
Satisfy that development and accomplishment need.
And it led to a 65% conversion rate for their newsletter signups.
That's incredible.
Then you have a health insurance company, Visana, that used a simple swipe quiz to educate younger clients.
Turning boring policy details into a fun little game.
And they got a 90% completion rate. It just works.
This all leads us right into personal application and this whole movement of the quantified self.
The ultimate DIY gamification.
It's this idea of self-knowledge through numbers, collecting data on yourself with apps like Fitbit or Duolingo.
Exactly. Turning your life into a measurable game of self-improvement. But there's a critical warning here.
Which is?
Just collecting the data isn't enough. Having a wristband track your steps won't change your life on its own.
The data is passive. You have to actively engage with it.
You have to interact with it. And surprisingly, research shows that making that process just a little bit harder can make it more effective.
Wait, harder? How does that work?
I know, it sounds totally backwards. They call it disfluency. The idea is when information is too easy to consume, like a number just popping up on an app, it doesn't stick.
So making it slightly more challenging. Like what? Charting your data by hand?
Exactly. That little bit of extra cognitive effort, drawing a line graph, making tally marks, it actually improves comprehension and retention.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So for someone wanting to do this themselves, what are some simple tactics?
First, turn your to-do list into a quest log. Assign points to tasks based on difficulty, set a monthly point goal, and track it with a simple progress bar.
So you're constantly feeding that accomplishment drive.
Right. Or you can use time-based challenges. Estimate a task will take 2 hours. If you finish in 90 minutes, give yourself bonus points.
That turns efficiency into a mini-game against yourself.
For sure. And for the power of narrative, there's that great story about the person who gamified walking by framing it as a trip to Mordor.
I love that one. 1,779 steps was one leg of the journey.
Right. They weren't just tracking steps, they were on a mythological journey. And that powerful narrative led to incredible consistency.
And they started habit stacking, right? Adding journaling and meditating.
The narrative was the lever that got it all started.
And for any of these personal systems, the reward strategy is key.
It has to be tiered. Small rewards for daily goals, like a favorite coffee. mid-tier rewards, like a movie night for a weekly challenge.
And major rewards for long-term quests.
Spa day, a weekend trip. You have to keep the tiers separate so the small rewards don't devalue the big ones.
Okay, we've talked about the power, but it's not foolproof.
Mhm.
Poor design can really backfire. Let's get into the strategic do's and don'ts.
First and most critical, don't gamify behavior that provides no real value
Because people will see right through it.
immediately. And you create what's called gamification backlash, where they become resistant to any future attempts. You can't salvage a bad process just by adding points.
And the second big mistake.
Is thinking you have to turn work into a game.
What do you mean?
Building a separate game on top of a workflow often just makes the work less efficient. It's a distraction.
The game elements need to be integrated into the workflow. They should help the work, not replace it.
Exactly. And finally, you have to watch out for the unintended consequences. Cheating, obsessive behavior.
So you need to build in some guardrails.
Mitigation is key. Set daily maximums for points on certain activities. It reduces the incentive to overdo it or game the system.
And we have to come back to that psychological trap, the over-justification effect. This seems really dangerous.
It is. It's when you introduce an external reward for something that was already intrinsically motivating, and you actually kill the original motivation.
So if I genuinely love coding, and my boss starts giving me a badge for every bug I fix,
That external reward can actually make you enjoy the act of coding less.
because my internal reason has been replaced by this external expectation.
Right, and when you take the reward away, the person is less likely to continue. This is why you should really only target extrinsic rewards at tasks that are already mundane or difficult.
Or for behaviors the person hasn't internalized yet.
Precisely. If someone is already showing enjoyment, a strong external reward can destroy that.
Okay, so to summarize our deep dive, gamification is this sophisticated and rapidly expanding tool for productivity.
Driven by these fundamental psychological triggers like accomplishment, loss avoidance, and our need for autonomy.
And success really depends on having clear goals, frequent feedback, and critically knowing who your players are and what motivates them.
And if you are looking for that long-term success, whether it's in corporate training or your own personal goals, remember that community is king.
Because most people are socializers.
The vast majority. So any long-term system absolutely needs a community, component collaboration, recognition, a shared purpose to really be effective.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to consider.
If self-improvement is basically turning your life into your own personalized game, and we know that 80% of people are socializers who thrive on interaction, how could you leverage that specific need in your personal goals? Instead of just relying on solitary streaks or badges, could finding an accountability buddy for that boring project, or creating a shared team quest with a friend for a fitness goal? Could that be the missing piece you need to sustain motivation where individual metrics alone keep failing? Something to think about as you start planning.